Hello and welcome to the Juliet Garden, presented by Mike Curtis and Jeanette Sedgebill on behalf of the Association Jardinier du Sud-Ouest à Chèvres. The Juliet Garden has been specially designed for the project festival des Jardins 2016, Jardin éphémère St Fraigne, open to the public from early June to late October 2016. Let us look at the theme of the garden. The theme is based on the brief from Jardin éphémère, the requirements of which are the honeymoon and let us gather nectar in the garden. Therefore, the design considerations focus upon features of love, marriage, quintessential Englishness, colour, natural planting, sustainability. As the garden design had to be capable of covering the months from June to October, recycled materials, and accessible for day and night visits. In addition, the consideration was afforded to the garden's construction, its maintenance during the period from June to October, as well as its management. Moreover, a key point of the brief highlighted the role of a designed pathway which could serve as a journey through the garden as a living place. Let us move on to consider the design features. The design features centre upon the visitors becoming actors within the garden space, its playfulness, its educational value, and its innovativeness. Let's look at the design concept. The concept of the design is based on William Shakespeare's play of Romeo and Juliet, the famous garden scene of Act 2, Scene 2. The visitors to the garden become actors who move playfully and educationally through the garden via a developed pathway, which allows the visitors to inhabit the garden as a stage. The visitors' journeys start with their entrance through a flowered bamboo archway and ends on their exit through a final wooden arch. Centre stage highlights at its focal point a wooden structured red window through which the actors view symbols of love and nectar gathering. The path juxtaposes the scenes, its dramatic irony as the actors journey past and through poetically lines of verse taken from the play, which is stenciled within seating areas as a reflection of the garden's planting considerations which focus upon flowers, fruits and vegetables reflected in the design brief. Forms, textures, shapes and plants variety are highlighted points within the garden design consideration. Imagery within the garden focalizes and symbolizes the colours, forms and textures within the act of Romeo and Juliet. Lightness and darkness, the light, whiteness or paleness symbolizes ideas of love, life and hope. Juliet, within the play, is portrayed as the sun, brighter than the light of a torch or the stars, once again reflected within the garden's design. Romeo is portrayed as love, pure, whiter than snow. Once more, the pastel colours of whiteness and creams are reflected within the garden area. Imagery also focuses upon love and passion, the overflowing passions, deep and passionate, within the red window frame, which centralises the garden design concept. Nature too is reflected within the language of the garden, within its imagery and within the design brief. Language thought revolve around its plants, animals, seasons, as well as the images drawn from nature. Moving on to look at key design features, Juliet uses within her language a beautiful flower image to portray her Romeo. Birds and flight. References to nature inform the actor of love is as natural as the seasons. Once more, this imagery is built within the garden design and meets the requirements of the brief. The imagery is used poetically to emphasize meaning, interaction, and structure to bind action and theme together in working harmony within the garden spaces. If we consider the lines of the verse, key lines of verse have been taken in order to stencil within the seating areas of the garden. Key lines such as, "But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. What's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other word would smell as sweet." Once more, these key lines are reflected within certain areas of the garden through its rose planting in various corners and with the stenciling into seating areas. Basic design considerations have focused upon our site analysis. Our existing plan shows our plot number 6, in which it is highlighted in red. Obviously, aspects such as wind, soil and other elements have been taken into consideration in designing the garden. We see on slide 11 is the proposed plan in very basic form. We have the rose planting in one corner, which juxtaposes to the love seat, and we can see here on its red oblong the red Shumi window frame with its seating beneath. Raised planters will add definition to the garden, and we can see its pathway, which will be bordered by growing rosemary in order to define the route of the actor and the visitor through the garden space. Turning to our slide 12, we see here as a central focal point the red window of Shumi. Bernard Shumi is a well-known architect who installs red follies in his park in Paris, which act as focal points and superimposes certain areas, a concept which we have incorporated into our garden design. In relation to the proposed subfocal features, this details the dovecote, which centralises the design on a southwest diagonal axis through the Shumi picture window frame. The love seat also centralises the design to the southeast diagonal axis and balances the design and its concept overall. If we move on to our dovecotes, we have a young jewellery designer who is currently manufacturing a copper dove bird to be sited on top of the dovecote to symbolise love, gathering nectar within the garden space. Turning to our next slide, which focuses upon the seating and the key verse lines, we can see here with the stenciling within tree bark our lines of verse, a concept which we wish to incorporate within our garden space. Focusing on seating, we have one of our members who is currently creating the seating cushions for the seating areas in colourful fabrics, which will be inviting to our visitors as they enact upon our garden design. Moving on to our colour scheme, the aim of our colour scheme is to portray the Englishness with an array of pastel colours from soft warm whites, symbolising Romeo, to serene creams, peaceful yellows, through to the cool, calm blues. Nature's abundance of natural colours by design is reflected within the naturalness of English planting, a concept which we wish to underpin within our design, as we are the only English garden design exhibiting at this festival. Turning to plant selection and consideration, we have a range of plants in order to meet the budget and to meet our design space. Our design space is approximately 100 square metres, very small space with very tight design considerations. We would be delighted to answer any questions you may have, any queries, and obviously we look forward to seeing you on the garden project, and thank you for listening to this presentation. Goodbye.